They are prepping to get Caitlin Clark to the New York Liberty.
There is a photo that is floating around, which we're about to pick up, and many people is insinuating that Caitlin Clark could be trying to plan the outs of Indiana.
Well, they made it clear that they want Caitlin Clark, or they're eventually going to want Caitlin Clark. Along those lines, they made it very, very clear. And that team is the New York Liberty.
Ooh-wee, Fever organization, y'all are in trouble.
Caitlin Clark and her agent just got caught in a secret tunnel meeting with New York Liberty stars, and the entire WNBA world is losing its mind. When fans spotted Clark's agent, Erin Kane, deep in conversation with Liberty coach Sandy Brondello, Sabrina Ionescu, and Breanna Stewart after Indiana's brutal loss, the speculation exploded faster than Clark's logo threes. But here's the thing nobody's talking about. This might be clear proof that Clark is already planning her exit from a dumpster fire that is the Indiana Fever organization.
Caitlin Clark had a secret meeting, a little powwow, just a little powwow, with the New York Liberty post-game.
And after the game, Sabrina Ionescu says, hey, Caitlin, come to the back with us real quick. Only for Caitlin Clark to see Sandy Brondello standing there, Breanna Stewart standing there, and her agent all lying in wait to pounce on the opportunity to sell Caitlin Clark on the New York Liberty.
The photo went viral in 40 minutes, racking up 70,000 views before most people even knew the game was over. And when fans realized Clark's agent was right there in the mix, having what looked like a very serious business conversation, the conspiracy theories started flying. Some called it innocent all-star planning. Others saw it as straight-up tampering. But after you see what I'm about to show you about Clark's situation in Indiana, you'll understand why this meeting might be way more significant than anyone wants to admit. If you think Clark deserves better than what she's getting in Indiana, smash that like button and comment Liberty Bound if you think she's heading to New York, or Fever Forever if you think she'll stay in Indiana. Now, let's break down exactly what happened on July 16th in the tunnel at Barclays Center that has everyone questioning Clark's future.
This, my friends, is currently going viral all over social media right now. That is Caitlin Clark immediately after the game.
You see Sammy Brown-Diller got her hand on Caitlin Clark's arm, warming her up, making her feel all fuzzy. They probably brought her favorite chocolate chip cookies. Y'all know Caitlin Clark loved chocolate chip cookies.
Something cooking up. I'm telling you, by 2027, I feel like my precious CC will be going to the New York Liberty.
The Liberty had just demolished the Fever 98-77, and Clark wasn't even playing due to yet another injury. But instead of heading straight to the team bus like most sideline players would, Clark made a detour that's now got everyone questioning her loyalty to Indiana. The photo shows Clark looking genuinely happy, something we haven't seen much of this season. While deep in conversation with three Liberty stars, Sandy Brondello has her hand on Clark's shoulder like they're old friends planning something big. Sabrina Ionescu is leaning in close, probably talking about how much better Clark's life could be in New York. And Breanna Stewart is standing right there, like she's ready to welcome Clark to the championship squad. But here's what made this whole thing explode into a full-blown controversy. Clark Report posted the photo with a simple caption that sent shockwaves through the basketball world. Caitlin's agent is among the group as well. Those 8 words, paired with an eyes emoji, changed everything. Because when agents get involved in random post-game conversations, it's usually not about the weather. You want to know the difference between innocent small talk and a business meeting? The presence of an agent.
What's crazy is that her team lost the damn game, but Caitlin is all smiles. She's all smiles.
Y'all see that lady in the white pants, in the blue shirt next to Breanna Stewart? You know who that is? To the left, you know who that is? That's Caitlin Clark's agent. They even got the agent in on it, y'all. They building.
When Caitlin Clark chats with other players after games, that's just normal professional courtesy. But when her agent is right there, taking notes and participating in the conversation, that's when things get interesting. Erin Kane from Excel Sports Management doesn't just hang around opposing team tunnels for fun. She's there to protect Clark's interests and plan her future. So when fans saw Kane actively participating in what looked like a recruitment meeting, the tampering accusations started flying faster than Clark's assists. Excel Sports Management didn't build their reputation by accident. They represent some of the biggest names in sports, and they know exactly how to position their clients for maximum success. Kane has been watching Clark get beaten up, physically and emotionally, all season, while playing for an organization that can't seem to get out of its own way. The timing of this meeting couldn't be more suspicious if they planned it.
The New York Liberty is doing what they got to do, while the Indiana Fever are lollygagging and wasting Caitlin Clark's time.
Because the Fever organization, y'all are a mess and incompetent. From the players to the coach and everybody else, referees and everybody.
We better pay close attention to this. If I'm the Indiana Fever, you better tighten up. You better get your act together, Amber Cox, Kelly Cross-Cobb, Stephanie White. Caitlin Clark might be on her way.
Clark is dealing with her worst injury crisis ever. The Fever are falling apart organizationally. And here comes the defending champion Liberty, looking like they've got solutions to all her problems. Kane would be doing her job poorly if she wasn't exploring every option to get Clark into a better situation. What makes this even more telling is how comfortable everyone looked. This wasn't some awkward chance encounter in a hallway. These people were having a real conversation about real topics. And based on the body language, it was going pretty well. Brondello looked like she was making her pitch. Ionescu was selling the dream. And Stewart was showing Clark what winning culture actually looks like. But the most damning evidence, Clark looked happier in that 30-second conversation than she has in most games this season.
I ain't seen her this happy all year. Right here. I ain't seen her. And look at Sandy. Sandy's grinning with her hand on Caitlin's shoulder. I mean, I'm going to tell you, and I saw some people say, well, maybe they're talking All-Star game. Why is her agent there? That is the key.
They probably telling her where to buy houses. They probably telling her where the best off-season cribs are up in the Hamptons. They listen. They said you think you big in Indiana. Imagine what your brand will be in New York.
When your superstar is literally glowing while talking to the competition, that should set off every alarm bell in your organization. Speaking of alarm bells, this season has been an absolute nightmare for Clark's health, and it's starting to feel like more than just bad luck. She's missed 10 regular season games this year. That's more games than she missed in her entire college career combined. We're talking about some
WNBA All-Star without Caitlin Clark. The Fever star announced that due to her injury, she won't be participating in the three-point contest or the All-Star.
Sandy Brondello isn't just any coach. She's a two-time WNBA champion who led the Liberty to their first title just last year. She knows exactly what it takes to get the best out of elite players. The Liberty's big three, Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, and Jonquil Jones, would become an unprecedented big four with Clark in the mix. These aren't players who need their hands held or their egos managed. They're professionals who understand what it takes to compete at the highest level. Brondello's tactical genius is already on full display in how she schemed to stop Clark. The defensive systems she's built specifically for Clark have been copied by teams across the league. When Clark dropped 32 points with 7 threes in their last meeting, it marked the Liberty's first loss in an otherwise perfect start to the season. Imagine what Brondello could do if she were designing plays for Clark instead of against her. The Liberty organization was just valued at $450 million, making them the richest team in women's sports history. They have the resources, the coaching, and the championship mentality that Clark has been desperately missing in Indiana. When you compare the two situations, it's not even close. New York also offers something small market teams can't match, the biggest media stage in the world. Clark's brand would explode in ways that just aren't possible in Indianapolis. The Liberty don't just want to win games, they want to dominate the sport and take it to the next level. That's exactly the kind of ambition Clark needs around her. The defensive attention she faces would also be completely different in New York. Teams can focus everything on stopping her in Indiana because there's limited secondary scoring. In New York, she'd have 3 other all-star level players who can take over games. Clark would finally get to play basketball, instead of playing 1 versus 5 every night. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Is what happened in that tunnel actually tampering? The WNBA has gotten serious about policing these infractions lately. The Las Vegas Aces just lost their 2025 first-round pick, and coach Becky Hammon got a 2-game suspension for tampering with De'Arica Hamby. Teams are getting fined hundreds of thousands of dollars for providing improper benefits. But here's the thing about tampering rules. They require proof of actual recruitment discussions or improper benefits. A post-game conversation between all-star participants doesn't automatically constitute an infraction, even if it looks suspicious as heck. The league would need evidence that the Liberty were making specific offers or promises to Clark. The Liberty's official position is probably that this was just all-star game coordination. Clark had traded for Brondello to coach her team, and Ionescu was selected for Clark's squad. They could claim this was just teammates and their coach planning for the weekend's events in Indianapolis. But let's be real about what everyone knows is happening. When a superstar player is clearly frustrated with her current situation, and the defending champions just happen to have a long conversation with her and her agent, that's not accidental. Smart organizations plant seeds and build relationships for the future without crossing legal lines. The WNBA is in a tough spot here. They want to police tampering, but they also don't want to create a scandal around their biggest star. Investigating this meeting would bring even more attention to Clark's obvious dissatisfaction with Indiana. Sometimes, the league's best move is to look the other way and let things play out naturally. What makes this situation even more complex is that everyone involved has plausible deniability. The Liberty can claim they were just being friendly. Clark can say she was networking with fellow All-Stars. The agent can claim she was just there as a friend. But the optics tell a completely different story. And that story leads us to what this really means for Clark's future. Because the most telling thing about this whole situation isn't what was said in that tunnel. It's what it reveals about where Clark's head is at. When your superstar is seeking comfort from the competition instead of her own organization, that tells you everything you need to know. 7. Think about that for a second. The face of women's basketball is voluntarily missing the biggest stage in her home state because her body is falling apart. That's not normal wear and tear. That's what happens when you're carrying an entire dysfunctional organization on your back. The worst part? Clark specifically traded for Sandy Brondello to coach her all-star team. She wanted to work with the Liberty coach so badly that she used her captain privileges to make it happen. Now she can't even participate because the Fever have run her into the ground. You think that conversation in the tunnel included some pointed questions about how different things could be in New York? Clark's injury pattern tells a story that goes way beyond basketball. When elite athletes start breaking down like this, it's often because the stress and dysfunction around them is manifesting physically. The Fever aren't just failing Clark on the court. They're failing to protect her health and career. And that brings us to the absolute circus that is the Indiana Fever front office. Because this is where the story gets really ugly. In June, they waived 16-year veteran and 6-time All-Star DeWanna Bonner after she requested her release. Think about that. A player with more experience than most current coaches looked at this organization and said, "I'd rather be unemployed than deal with this mess." Bonner was supposed to be a major piece of their championship puzzle. Instead, she got benched after 3 games and hadn't played since June 10th, for mysterious personal reasons. When a respected veteran wants out that badly, it's usually because the culture is toxic from top to bottom. Head coach Stephanie White has been missing games left and right for personal reasons, leaving assistant Austin Kelly to hold things together. White was also fined for publicly destroying the referees and went on a rant about officiating that made her sound completely unhinged. Her exact words were, "Everybody's getting better except the officials." Real professional leadership there. The coaching instability is creating a perfect storm of dysfunction. You've got players requesting trades, coaches missing games, and a front office that seems completely overwhelmed by having an actual superstar on their roster. Clark deserves better than this amateur-hour operation. But the most damning evidence of organizational failure? Clark herself has been getting into screaming matches with referees because she's so frustrated with the lack of protection. She got caught on camera telling official Michael Price, "That's just rude, and I'm going to call the league on you," while making fake phone gestures. When your superstar is threatening to call headquarters on the refs, your organization has completely lost control. The Fever weren't prepared for the Caitlin Clark era, and it shows in every aspect of their operation. From injury management to veteran relations to basic professionalism, they're failing at every level. No wonder Clark looked so relaxed talking to people who actually know how to run a championship organization. And that's exactly what the Liberty can offer that Indiana simply cannot. A proven winning culture built by people who understand how to maximize superstar talent. The Liberty had just demolished the Fever 98-77, and Clark wasn't even playing due to yet another injury. But instead of heading straight to the team bus like most sideline players would, Clark made a detour that's now got everyone questioning her loyalty to Indiana. The photo shows Clark looking genuinely happy, something we haven't seen much of this season. While deep in conversation with 3 Liberty stars, Sandy Brondello has her hand on Clark's shoulder like they're old friends planning something big. Sabrina Ionescu is leaning in close, probably talking about how much better Clark's life could be in New York. And Breanna Stewart is standing right there, like she's ready to welcome Clark to the championship squad. But here's what made this whole thing explode into a full-blown controversy. Clark Report posted the photo with a simple caption that sent shockwaves through the basketball world. Caitlin's agent is among the group as well. Those 8 words, paired with an eyes emoji, changed everything. Because when agents get involved in random post-game conversations, it's usually not about the weather. You want to know the difference between innocent small talk and a business meeting? The presence of an agent. Clark is dealing with her worst injury crisis ever. The Fever are falling apart organizationally. And here comes the defending champion Liberty, looking like they've got solutions to all her problems. Kane would be doing her job poorly if she wasn't exploring every option to get Clark into a better situation. What makes this even more telling is how comfortable everyone looked. This wasn't some awkward chance encounter in a hallway. These people were having a real conversation about real topics. And based on the body language, it was going pretty well. Brondello looked like she was making her pitch. Ionescu was selling the dream. And Stewart was showing Clark what winning culture actually looks like. But the most damning evidence? Clark looked happier in that 30-second conversation than she has in most games this season. Caitlin Clark and her agent just got caught in a secret tunnel meeting with New York Liberty stars, and the entire WNBA world is losing its mind. When fans spotted Clark's agent, Aaron Kane, deep in conversation with Liberty coach Sandy Brondello, Sabrina Ionescu, and Breanna Stewart after Indiana's brutal loss, the speculation exploded faster than Clark's logo threes. But here's the thing nobody's talking about. This might be clear proof that Clark is already planning her exit from the dumpster fire that is the Indiana Fever organization.